2009, USA. Young guy Dylan Harper is a popular blogger and a typical resident of Los Angeles, who is living a calm and measured lifestyle. Dylan is a workaholic and doesn't like to hurry, so one day he is late for a screening at the cinema, which drives his girlfriend into hysterics. They fight and she dumps Dylan, which upsets him because he was late at work and not at the bar. Dylan wants to change the scenery to get over a breakup, so he accepts an offer to take up the position of art director of the famous GQ magazine in New York. For the past 6 months, Dylan had been discussing this offer with a recruiter named Jamie, but refused to move because of his attachment to his girlfriend. Dylan flies to New York and meets Jamie in person. Then they go to an interview. New York seems cramped to him and the residents are hectic and in a hurry. But for Jamie, rushing every day in densely populated New York is a normal thing. Jamie is to receive a solid fee for Dylan's first year of work, so she is interested in his employment. That's why she convinces Dylan. He can handle it. Dylan completes interview successfully and happy. Jamie suggests the new art director celebrate this event at the bar. Later, she shows Dylan her favorite place in New York, the roof of a skyscraper, where there are no people and no mobile signal. Jamie comes here when she needs to stop time and think about something important, meditate or take a break from city life. Dylan barely has time to enjoy the wonderful view of the city when Jamie rushes him again because they are late for Times Square, the central square of New York. There, they watch a flash mob with townspeople dancing, which surprises Dylan, because he has never seen anything like that in Los Angeles. Then he comes up with the idea of using this flash mob to make a spectacular screensaver for a magazine ad where people join together to form the letters G and Q. In the evening, Dylan settles into a spacious apartment, and the next day he arrives at the magazine's editorial office. As the new art director, Dylan first of all removes the door of his own office, demonstrating to his subordinates his openness and desire to work in a team. Before lunch, Jamie brings the contract and Dylan signs it, then suggests going to a cafe together. Jamie sees this as a date invitation, but Dylan as a friendly gesture, since he has no friends in New York yet. Dylan and Jamie go out for lunch and get to know each other better in a relaxed atmosphere. Jamie sees how Dylan's ex is calling, and then he tells about his breakup, after which he decided to challenge himself and go to conquer New York. In turn, Jamie admits that her boyfriend recently broke up with her too, and this coincidence brings Dylan and Jamie closer. Together, they visit bars, go to parties, and jokes with each other at any opportunity. One evening, Jamie invites Dylan to her place, and together they watch a melodrama that they consider too unrealistic. Jamie is a practical girl, so she admits that she wants sex, but she would not like to look for someone or spend time on dates now. Then Dylan offers to have sex without commitment, that is, without entering into a relationship. Together, they swear on an electronic Bible that they have no feelings for each other and are driven solely by physiological need. Dylan and Jamie promise to remain friends no matter what, then head to the bedroom. The next day, Jamie comes to Dylan and apologizes for yesterday. She wants to stay friends and Dylan agrees that last night was a mistake. Having drunk a lot, in the evening they have sex again, because to refrain from such a simple and affordable pleasure harder than they thought. Day after day, week after week, they continue to sleep with each other and have fun. And then Jamie confesses to Dylan that she wants to start dating again. Dylan agrees and together they go to Central Park so that everyone can find a partner. Dylan is the first to meet the girl, but she says that she is already married and has 3 children. Jamie is luckier because she meets a handsome man, 35-year-old pediatric oncologist Parker, who immediately invites her on a date. In the following days, Dylan receives pictures from Jamie with her new boyfriend. Dylan would like to be glad for his friend, but he can't, so he goes to a bar with his colleagues. One evening, Jamie reminds Parker that today is the 5th date, which means that she is ready to spend the night with him. When he suggests going to the bedroom, Jamie says she'd rather stay on the couch. Perhaps, unconsciously, she would like to keep the bedroom for another person. In the morning, Jamie is woken up by a call from Dylan, and she leaves the house to get coffee so that Parker won't hear their conversation. Dylan first inquires if Jamie slept with her new boyfriend, expecting to hear no. However, Jamie not only slept, but also hopes that the new guy is her handsome prince, as promised in children's fairy tales. Suddenly, Jamie notices that Parker has left the house and is walking fast. When Jamie catches up with him, Parker says he's not sure he wants to continue the relationship and doesn't think they're right for each other. Later, Dylan arrives and comforts a distraught Jamie, who feels abandoned and guilty. Dylan doesn't want Jamie to develop an inferiority complex, so he claims that Parker is just another pathetic jerk who boosts his self-esteem with one-time sex. Dylan suggests that Jamie take his mind off what happened and fly together for the weekend to his family in Los Angeles. There, Jamie meets Dylan's father, sister, and nephew, who live in a large, luxurious house near the ocean. Jamie does not understand how it was possible to exchange all this for a job in New York, and Dylan answers that he was deceived by a recruiter. They spend time together at the beach, and in the evening, Dylan's sister shows Jamie his childhood photos. The sister is asked not to pay attention to some strange remarks of the elderly father because he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, and sometimes he forgets the people around him, and it is not meaningful how he ended up in this or that place, and sometimes he calls a girl named Didi, whoever she is. The sister knows that Dylan and Jamie are just friends, so she gives them 2 different rooms to spend the night. However, at night, Dylan comes to Jamie and reminds that they are both single again, which means friendly sex can be resumed. Jamie refuses because she is depressed, because she feels abandoned. She asks Dylan to give her moral support, because that's how true friends usually help. Dylan stays, but does not hide his disappointment that there will be no sex. They drink alcohol, dance and have fun, and this increases Jamie's mood, including a romantic one. She kisses Dylan, and for the first time they experience intimacy in a different, leisurely way, like they're in love with each other. After that, Dylan returns to his room, and his secret night visit to Jamie accidentally notices his sister, who has gone into the kitchen to drink water. Jamie falls in love with Dylan, and the next day her behavior changes. This is noticed by his family, who did not believe in their friendship from the very beginning. Walking through the hills of Los Angeles, Jamie asks why Dylan is so nervous today, and is last night together maybe somehow connected with it. Dylan replies that he doesn't see any difference, because yesterday was the same friendly sex as all the previous nights in New York. This offends Jamie, because she is the one who sees the difference. Later, Jamie overhears Dylan's conversation with his sister, who doesn't understand what's stopping good friends from becoming a great couple. Dylan says that he doesn't like Jamie as a girl because she's crazy and has a lot of mental problems, and sex is just physiology, like a game of tennis, and here Jamie is a really great partner. Jamie is very offended when she hears it, and in the evening she hastily says goodbye to Dylan and his family, inventing an urgent call to New York for work. On Monday, Dylan returns to New York and calls Jamie many times, but she doesn't pick up the phone. Jamie spends time with her mother and works more to distract herself and forget about Dylan. She ignores his calls and refuses to call Dylan, even when asked to do so by the largest trading company in the US that wants to hire Dylan. The next day, Dylan calls Jamie again and learns that her phone is out of range. He remembers the roof of the skyscraper, Jamie's favorite place, and runs there. Dylan finds her, but offended Jamie does not want to reconcile, because she believed that their friendship had to become closer. Dylan reminds that Jamie initially set the conditions, sex without feelings and consequences, and now it seems that she is confused about herself. Jamie does not know how she should hint that she is in love with Dylan, and sex without feelings is something that only men can do. For women it is not possible. Therefore, she becomes even more offended, says that they are no longer friends, and then leaves the roof. Later, the trading company calls Dylan directly and offers a lucrative contract, and he accepts, which Jamie immediately finds out. If Dylan quits as art director of the magazine, Jamie won't get her recruiting fee, so now she calls him, but it goes to voicemail. Jamie finds Dylan in the photo studio and accuses him of wanting to quit specifically to ruin her reputation and deprive her of royalties. Dylan does not explain the reasons for his decision, because he cannot admit that he just wanted to attract her attention in such a dangerous way for his career. Dylan offers to pay her the fee from their own pocket, but offended Jamie asks not to worry and leaves. A few days later, Dylan's father flies in and they sit down to dinner, when suddenly the father starts calling Didi again. Dylan asks who Didi is, and the father tells him that's the name of the girl he had a crush on when he was young, but he missed his chance to be with her, and not a day went by that he didn't regret it. Dylan understands that this story inspired him and he wants to reconcile with Jamie, but only in a very romantic way. Jamie arrives at the subway station where he is supposed to meet his mother, but instead finds himself among the dancing crowd that Dylan has gathered there. He admits that he is ready for a relationship with Jamie, even without sex, although he understands that it will be very difficult. This frankness amuses Jamie, and she asks Dylan to kiss her, but not as a friend,